Hi, welcome to Life Skills with Louie. I'm Louie. Today we are talking about choice and mindfulness of choice. If you haven't watched the introduction to the Connecting to Clear section, please do that to understand this set of skills better. And if you haven't watched the introduction to the entire video series, I encourage you to do that to understand the 5 sets of skills and when to use each of them. To dive right into choice, I think choice is one of the more sacred elements of life. In medicine, we also consider choice to be quite sacred, and there are only very specific circumstances where we even consider taking away someone's sense of choosing their path in life. Even if we choose things that are harmful, it's still our right to choose, and it's a freedom that's afforded to us in many situations. So I treat choice as something that's sacred. And with choice, many times we are in habits that don't really even feel like a choice. So elevating our awareness of the choices we have is a very possibly powerful perspective. This whole section has to do with learning more about the choices that you have. And if you practice behavior analysis and missing behavioral analysis, you'll understand choice so much better and the depth of how it happens that we end up taking the roads we take. Something I've learned through working with others for quite a long time now is that it's always complex how people make the choices they do. And it always makes sense ultimately. They have intentions that really make sense. And if you get to know someone well enough, then the judgment you might have felt about their choices disappears. Not to say it's not hard when people make choices that cause them pain or cause someone else pain, but there's a way to understand it. So I wanted to make a video that shed some light on choice. There's a more simple skill called pros and cons. It exists in dialectical behavioral therapy, DBT, and also in addictions treatment in general. And this is an expansion of that skill. So mindfulness of choice. We once again use these principles of mindfulness. And the idea here is that we shine mindfulness principles on the experience of making choices. So to go through this skill, which is something you can use when you're making choices in life, either little ones or the big ones. First, observe the choice at hand, whether it even feels like a choice. When we're in habitual patterns, and especially if there's a strong urge or a pull towards something, we may have the experience our awareness is very narrow. It actually doesn't feel like there is another choice. Like this is the only path available. Notice that. See if you can broaden your awareness to notice if there might be other choices available, other directions you could go. Even if they feel like you're not going to take them, it's okay, you don't have to. Or even if you feel like it's too uncomfortable, just to be aware of what are all the actual choices available. As we're starting to practice this skill, I'll just put a note here that if we were to do a scan of someone's brain when they're making a more habitual choice, probably the lower parts of the brain are active, the deeper parts of the brain that are more rote and habitual. When we're practicing these skills, I have to think it's turning on the cortex, the newer part of the brain. And so just taking time to do this offers the opportunity to turn on more of the brain. It's a nice way to think about it. So we talked about observe. Now describe, say in your mind or on paper, the different options that are available to you. I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. Start to outline what are the likely consequences. In life, there's no perfect choice. All choices in this dualistic world we live have some pros and cons based on your perspective. And if you can just know, well, here are the pros and cons, short-term and long-term, of this possible choice, this possible choice, this possible choice. First of all, it just gives you time. Kind of practice the stop skill to slow down a little bit. Gives you some time. Helps you to make a more informed choice. And then you can see if you were accurate. Helps you to build your predictive power with choices. So describing, writing down or saying in your mind These are the likely consequences of these choices. Participate. Bring yourself into the situation and be in the possibility of the different choices. What do they feel like in the body if I do this, if I do this, if I do this? Realize that this is your life. Participate in your life and participate in your choices. Even if you're going to do the same thing you've always done, do it more fully. Say to yourself, okay, I own this choice. This is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to let go of judgment. I'm just going to do this, which gets to the next principle, non-judgmentally. Again, there are pros and cons to every skill. Even if you do something that is ineffective for a long-term goal, someone else might judge you, it has a positive short-term effect. Otherwise, you would not do it. Everything has a logic behind it. Let go of judgment, validate that you're doing the best you can, and that encouragement and validation will be helpful for boosting your morale so that you might make different choices in the future. So offer yourself encouragement, validation, let go of judgment if you're able. One, mindfully focus. We make more impulsive choices when we are scattered. See if you're able to focus your awareness somehow. It'll help you to calm and relax and simply focus on the choice you're going to make. You may still make the same decision, or it may actually shift your decision to focus more attention, but you will do it in a more full, embodied, calm, and conscious way. Effectively, think about your overall long-term goals. Many times our brains are going short-term instead of long-term. So consider your long-term goals as you're arranging out the different choices available to you. Consider your visions, your long-term goals. See if you're able to bring online the vision that you have, and look at the video on envisioning and the poem about envisioning to really understand envisioning more and how it might fit in here. Open up to intuition. So there's your logical understanding of the different choices available. It's also totally okay to surrender a bit and open up and ask, hey, can I have some help here? There's sort of a prayer in it. You're open to your deeper self. You can ask an open, honest question of your intuition and see if you're able to settle and wait to see if you get an answer. What choice would be best for me? And see if you're able to wait for an answer. If it was coming from your intuition, it would be coming from a peaceful, joyful, loving place. Finally, see if you're able to feel any gratitude, which would definitely be a sign that mindfulness is coming online, that you have choices open to you. Some people have less choices. And so if you have some, see if you can feel some gratefulness that you have the freedom to make a choice. I hope you find this skill helpful. Thank you for listening.